The drama begins in winter, in a quiet neighborhood, when Ji Yun-hee, a girl so shy it's almost extreme, walks out of a pharmacy carrying several bags and a head full of nerves. It's not like she's doing anything suspicious. She simply bought personal items, but in her mind that's already enough reason to feel watched by half the planet. On her way home, she notices several men walking behind her. To make it worse, they're wearing caps, face masks, and giving off a mysterious vibe, like characters from a movie. Yun-hee hears one of them mention her name, and that's when full panic mode kicks in. Her imagination goes wild. She thinks about news of criminals on the loose, about coincidences that are way too suspicious, and about the worst possible ending. In a burst of tension, she drops the bags, everything spills out, and when the strangers come closer to help, she interprets their good intention as a threat. So she takes off running like she's in an Olympic competition. She arrives home out of breath, her heart bouncing, and locks herself in her room to process the scare. Her older brother, Ji Kwang-soo, comes in to tease her like always, because between siblings that's tradition. She tells him half of what she saw, but without sounding very convincing, and he tells her that new people moved into the neighborhood, some young guys who have been drawing attention. That, in Yun-hee's head, only makes everything worse. If there are strangers around, then her paranoia is right. Yun-hee has an adorable and cruel flaw at the same time. She daydreams too much. Her mind jumps from, "they followed me," to, "what if they were handsome?" in 2 seconds. She imagines movie-like scenarios, sees herself in a perfect dress surrounded by impressed guys, and suddenly her world turns pink. But Yun-hee's mom yanks her back to reality by yelling from the living room, reminding her that if she doesn't get serious, she'll charge her rent like she's just another tenant. That threat is the only thing that works instantly. Still shaken from earlier, Yun-hee checks her phone for crime news, but ends up finding something that upsets her in a different way. A headline about one of her favorite idols, Si-hoon, having health problems. Since she's a fan, she worries immediately, thinking her friends will lose it if they find out. Even so, she tries to act normal, because her mom already made it clear that fantasy comes at a high price. During breakfast, her mother insists on the neighborhood topic. The new neighbors are living in the house right across the street, and she wants Yun-hee to behave. To top it off, her mom hands her some keys to give to the neighbors when they come by to introduce themselves. Yun-hee tries to wriggle out of it, but the word rent shows up again and she swallows her pride. On top of that, her mom tells her not to go out in pajamas or old clothes if she's crossing the street, because she needs to have dignity. Yun-hee takes it way too seriously and practices how she's going to greet them, how she's going to smile, and even how she's going to breathe. And then comes the blow. The doorbell rings. She runs overexcited, convinced destiny is about to knock, opens the door, and finds 2 men who are nothing like the romantic image in her head. It's not that they're monsters, but compared to her exaggerated expectations, it's a brutal reality check. She plays it off, does what she has to do, and shuts herself in her room with a mix of disappointment and embarrassment. In that hiding, another important thing about Yun-hee is revealed. She's never had a boyfriend. Not because she doesn't like anyone, but because when she's interested in someone, her body goes into stone mode. She freezes, turns red, doesn't know what to say, and in the end she misses every opportunity. So even though she dreams about love, in real life she feels clumsy and inexperienced. While she's having her internal drama, Kwang-soo sticks his nose in again and says the neighbors don't look that bad. Yun-hee tells him to shut up because she thinks he doesn't understand anything. But her brother, curious, looks at the TV and notices something. The faces of the new neighbors look way too much like the members of EXO, his sister's favorite group. He says it out loud and Yun-hee laughs it off, because it sounds impossible. How could a famous group live right there? It would be like running into a world-class actor in line at the corner store. Her mom, however, doesn't give up. She decides to bring them food as a welcome, and since Yun-hee refuses, her mother plays her final card. She says that if Yun-hee doesn't help, she'll rent out the empty room in the house to a stranger. Yun-hee, terrified of sharing a roof with someone unknown, grabs the tray in record time and bolts toward the house across the street. When she gets there, the door is open and she doesn't see anyone. Instead of leaving the food and going away like a normal person, her curiosity and hunger betray her. She sits down, tastes a little by accident, and before she realizes it, she's eaten half the plate. At that moment, karma shows up. She chokes on the food. Desperate, she opens the fridge looking for water, drinks urgently, and just as she straightens up, she comes face to face with the strangers from the night before. But without caps or mystery. They're Chanyeol, Do, Baekhyun, and Si-hoon, the very one she idolizes. Shock wins. Yun-hee spits out a stream of water without meaning to, and worst of all, it lands straight on Chanyeol. She freezes, like her soul stepped out to catch its breath. The guys freeze too, trying to understand what a random girl is doing in their kitchen, eating their food and spraying one of them. In survival mode, Yun-hee runs. She doesn't say goodbye, doesn't explain, nothing, she just sprints back home like the apocalypse is chasing her. Back in her room, she tries to call her best friend, Jaeun, to tell her the news of the century. EXO lives right across the street. But her friend doesn't believe her and thinks Yun-hee is hallucinating. To prove it, Yun-hee hands her binoculars and drags her to the window to spy. The two start watching like secret agents, excited and nervous, but Yun-hee can't enjoy it because she remembers the water, the food, and the humiliation. On top of that, one of the guys with the reflexes of a star used to cameras notices the gaze and turns right toward them. Yun-hee ducks as if the glass were transparent, and embarrassment made noise. From the guy's side, it's simpler. They move there to rest and keep a low profile. They're tired of the noise of fame and want to live quietly for a while. But on the very first day, they already have a super weird neighbor invading their house. And Chanyeol gets serious over one detail. He chose that house for a personal reason, something he's been looking for years, even though he doesn't explain it clearly to everyone. The next morning, her mom drops another bomb. Yun-hee will be in charge of cleaning the neighbor's house as a temporary job. They pay well, and her mother sells it as a service to the country. Yun-hee refuses with her entire soul, because to her it sounds humiliating, but the threat of renting out the room appears again, so she gives in. Her mom gives her rules: don't talk too much, don't gossip, act professional. And above all, don't go into the second floor room. That room is untouchable. Before officially starting, the guys ask for a quick interview. Yun-hee shows up with her nerves through the roof, rehearsing lines in front of the mirror like she's defending a thesis. To make it worse, Kwang-soo has already figured out the neighbors are idols and gets paranoid with weird theories, because he watches music videos and thinks they all have powers. In desperation, he lends Yun-hee a helmet like she's going on a dangerous mission, and she crosses the street wearing it, becoming the neighborhood meme. The guys don't know whether to laugh or worry, but they let her in. From there, Yun-hee starts the job and discovers that living with stars doesn't mean a luxury life, it means a chaotic life. Food everywhere, clothes tossed around, song lyric papers, and a number of cups and plates as if 10 people live there. Also, each one tests her in his own way. Baekhyun pulls pranks to see if she'll spill anything. Si-hoon watches her with a serious face, like he's evaluating whether she's trustworthy. Dio calmly offers help, and that makes her even more nervous. And Chanyeol, pretending to be indifferent, side-eyes her every time she gets distracted. Yun-hee shows up with her cleaning supplies, trying to act like an adult, and is surprised by how big the house is inside. Her imagination starts flying again, but she forces herself to focus. If she gets distracted, they'll catch her. She cleans fast, organizes, sweeps, and when she reaches the forbidden area, she decides to obey. Still, while hanging clothes, she notices something that makes her think. Masks and accessories that look like the ones she saw the night before. That's when she understands the weird guys were them. She was just too nervous to connect the pieces. Curiosity bites her again. She approaches the door of the second floor room and, even though she tries to resist, she ends up going in, just for a second. The place looks like a music studio, with important things, instruments, personal objects, and an aura of "don't touch anything." Right then, a universal enemy appears. A cockroach. Yun-hee, who goes into war mode when she sees a bug, tries to catch it. The problem is her battle turns into a disaster. She knocks things over, hits furniture, makes noise, and without meaning to, leaves the room in chaos. As if the drama were scheduled, Chanyeol shows up and finds the room wrecked. He gets angry, because that room is special to him, and because she broke the one rule they gave her. Yun-hee, unable to explain what happened without sounding even crazier, breaks down. She turns red, her eyes water, and she runs off, almost crying. On the stairs she runs into the others and they all look confused. Dio, who has a gentler personality, tries to calm her down and speak kindly to her, which only makes Yun-hee even more nervous. Chanyeol watches that scene and his irritation shows, as if seeing Yun-hee close to Dio presses some strange button. He doesn't admit it, but the atmosphere shifts. Yun-hee goes home convinced she ruined her life and that now they'll hate her forever. That same night, Yun-hee realizes she lost her phone. She searches, calls it, nothing. Then the truth hits her. She left it in Chanyeol's room. On the other side, Chanyeol finds it, turns it on, and without meaning to, sees Yun-hee's private world. Photos, notes, fan stuff. He understands she really does know who they are and that she wasn't an intruder out of malice, just a clumsy, scared girl. Still, it annoys him that she can't handle the situation. Chanyeol replies to a message from Jae-eun without revealing too much, and makes Yun-hee come get the phone. When Yun-hee finds out, she panics. She wants her friend to go, but Jae-eun forces her to face the mess. Yun-hee waits until the house seems empty so she can sneak in like an elegant thief. But of course, Chanyeol is there. And when she tries to run, he stops her. Then one of the funniest scenes happens. Yun-hee, with a tomato-red face, trying to prove she knows who he is, says his name like it's a final exam. Chanyeol is surprised not by the fangirling, but by how absurd she is. She knows him, yet acts like she doesn't know how to breathe. He makes it clear he wants her far from his room and hands her back the phone, but he keeps thinking about her more than he wants to. After the scare, Yun-hee catches a cold, maybe from stress, maybe from winter, maybe from both. She spends days at home, shut in, under a blanket with her mind full of embarrassing scenes. The guys notice she hasn't come back to clean. Dio worries and decides to send her something warm through Kwang-soo, using the excuse of good neighborliness. Yun-hee receives the gesture, reads the note, and her mood instantly lifts. Her heart, already shy, gets triple excited. When Yun-hee goes back to work, she decides to do it right. She arrives serious, ties her hair up, focuses on cleaning, and promises she won't make mistakes. But Chanyeol shows up and starts bothering her with cold comments, like he wants to test whether she's there for money or for fangirling. Yun-hee gets prickly, defends herself awkwardly, and to avoid looking like an obsessed fan, pretends she doesn't care. Chanyeol notices her pride wound is real and, even though it's hard for him, he eases up. He doesn't apologize nicely, but he backs off and lets her work. During this new beginning, Yun-hee introduces herself formally and makes it clear she wants to leave, because she feels like she's only in the way. But Chanyeol drops a detail that leaves her frozen. He already knows her name. Yun-hee doesn't understand how, and that sends her mind spinning again. He accepts her apology, tells her she can keep working, and walks away like it's nothing. But for her, someone like him treating her with even a pinch of normality is too much. Yun-hee's mom, of course, gets excited about the paycheck and becomes stricter. She demands professionalism, and Yun-hee ends up signing a confidentiality agreement so she won't tell anyone the idols live there. That traps Yun-hee. She has the biggest news in the universe, but she can't shout it. And when a rumor spreads online that EXO lives in a certain neighborhood, fans start showing up on the street trying to confirm the address. Kwang-soo becomes an improvised security guard and makes up stories to throw them off, because if the fans find out, the house loses its peace. Meanwhile, Kwang-soo, who at first didn't believe any of it, gets obsessed, searches videos, learns who's who, and goes from "I don't care" to "this is historic" in one day. He also tries to act cool around them, especially when one of the guys asks for directions and ends up having coffee at their house. To everyone's surprise, Kwang-soo makes amazing coffee, and that opens a weird and funny relationship between him and the idols. The protective but proud brother who doesn't want his sister getting too close, even though deep down he's fascinated. While Yun-hee works, the guys test her without meaning to. Each one has his own style. Baekhyun is playful, Si-hoon is quieter but watches, Dio is gentle and attentive, and Chanyeol acts serious like he doesn't want to get involved. Yun-hee feels like she's in a constant emotional exam. She tries to keep her distance, but with her shyness and her tendency to turn red, she gives herself away. On an outing, Yun-hee runs into Min-hwan, her high school crush. Just seeing him triggers the trauma. She freezes again, her tongue gets stuck, and she turns red like a traffic light. Min-hwan, who remembers her as the same shy girl, teases her a bit, and Yun-hee feels humiliated. The guys, seeing her uncomfortable, come closer in "You okay?" mode, which makes Min-hwan feel intimidated. Yun-hee is left with the feeling that, for the first time, someone backed her up, without her asking. That same week, Yun-hee decides to fix her reputation inside the house. For her, first impressions matter too much, and she feels like she's already been labeled as the crazy neighbor who invades other people's kitchens. So she becomes extra careful. She leaves everything shining, organizes the kitchen, and quickly learns what each one likes. The problem is that the more she tries to look professional, the more obvious her nervousness becomes, because she drops rags and, every time she hears footsteps, she stiffens up. In one of those moments, the guys have a photo shoot and Kai shows up at the house to greet them. Kai has that calm vibe that draws attention effortlessly. When he sees Yun-hee, he understands in seconds that she turns red for no reason. Instead of mocking her, he talks to her normally, asks about the neighborhood, and even tells her not to stress. Yun-hee, who doesn't know how to deal with confident people, becomes even clumsier. The funny part is that Kai's kindness doesn't go unnoticed. Dio watches with curiosity. Baekhyun laughs because he can feel the gossip in the air. And Chanyeol gets more serious. He doesn't say anything, but it's obvious he doesn't like Yun-hee feeling comfortable with someone else, and she only senses the atmosphere getting weird. That night, Ji-eun calls to squeeze information out of her, and Yun-hee can barely say anything because of the confidentiality contract. That's when she realizes how absurd it is. She has her idols right in front of her, but she still feels alone. And for the first time, she wonders if what she feels isn't just being a fan anymore, but the way Chanyeol looks at her when he thinks she doesn't notice. Do, who has grown fond of Yun-hee, asks her to help him rehearse for a play or an artistic practice. Yun-hee, who lives in her fantasy, imagines it's a date. Then she remembers it's work and gets embarrassed all by herself. Still, that time with Do makes her feel safe, because he doesn't pressure her and speaks calmly. That starts building a silent triangle. Yun-hee doesn't know what she feels, Do moves closer with affection, and Chanyeol watches with jealousy he doesn't want to accept. Chanyeol, on his side, carries a personal issue, a chain or necklace that was important to him and is connected to his grandfather. He believes that house holds a memory or an object he wants to recover. That detail makes him insist on the house and on staying there, even when the situation with the neighbor is already chaos. Sometimes he dreams of his grandfather, hears scattered phrases, and gets up at dawn to search drawers and corners, like the necklace is waiting to be found. One day, Yun-hee notices something strange. Chanyeol knows too much about her. He knows her name without being told, understands her reactions, guesses her fears. She chalks it up to him being smart, but it leaves her uneasy. The answer appears when Suho, one of the members who shows up as support, finds old photos of Yun-hee. In one of those photos, there's a boy, and that boy is Chanyeol. Suddenly everything clicks. Chanyeol and Yun-hee were childhood friends. He was Chan, the boy she used to play with, the one who made innocent promises, and the one who moved away without saying goodbye. She cried for him for years, but never knew what happened to him. The problem is that Yun-hee doesn't recognize Chanyeol as Chan, because he grew up, changed, and now he's a star. For her, Chan stayed frozen in her childhood memory. And Chanyeol, who has recognized her since day one, decides to get close without saying it directly, hoping she'll remember on her own. That's why he asks weird questions, why he stares so much, why he gets mad when she doesn't catch on. The truth finally blows up when Yun-hee, by accident, enters a secret place inside the house. A hidden room that used to belong to Chanyeol's grandfather. She goes in out of curiosity, and he follows. The place has old objects, memories, and an atmosphere that feels like another era. There, Yun-hee finds a toy or a detail that reminds her of her childhood. Chanyeol watches her, clearly on the verge of telling the truth. But right at that moment, fate decides to trap them both. The door locks and they're stuck inside. The night trapped together is a mix of tension, embarrassment, and memories. Yun-hee complains, panics, turns red 1,000 times. Chanyeol, on the other hand, seems calm, like the lock-in is an opportunity. In the middle of that forced closeness, he drops clearer hints. She feels confused. She doesn't understand why he insists so much that she should recognize him. In the end, when there's no escape left, Chanyeol gives in and tells her what he's been holding back. He is Chan, her childhood friend. And the necklace he's searching for is tied to that family story. Yun-hee is stunned. At first, she doesn't believe him. Then, when she really looks at him, when she hears how he says certain things, when she feels her heart react like it did when she was a kid, she understands it's true. The embarrassment mixes with a strange emotion. Nostalgia, happiness, resentment, all at once. She doesn't know whether to laugh or cry for having had him right in front of her the whole time without realizing it. While they're trapped, chaos breaks out outside. Yun-hee's mother panics because her daughter is missing. The guys also get anxious because Chanyeol is gone, and he's not the type to disappear without warning. Kwang-soo, sticking his nose where it doesn't belong, ends up finding the entrance to the hidden room and rescues them. When Yun-hee gets home, her mom gives her the scolding of the century and, on top of that, makes it clear that in that neighborhood nobody disappears without notice. After the revelation, Chanyeol changes. He doesn't hide behind sarcasm as much. He starts treating Yun-hee more gently, like he wants to recover lost time. Yun-hee changes too, in her own way. She's still shy, still turns red, but she no longer looks at him like an idol, but like Chan. Even if Chan now has a star's face. That doesn't erase the triangle. Do also realizes that between Yun-hee and Chanyeol there's something deeper than a simple crush. Still, he doesn't give up quickly, because he truly likes Yun-hee and feels that with him she's more free. Chanyeol, competitive, gets even more jealous, and Yun-hee ends up stuck in the middle without knowing how to react without exploding from embarrassment. In the middle of everything, real-life pressure shows up. The group has schedules, recordings, commitments. Yun-hee tries to plan a simple outing with Chanyeol, something like meeting at the park, because she needs to talk and figure out what she feels. But right when she starts getting excited, a problem blows up inside the team. One of the members collapses and disappears for hours, and everyone panics thinking the worst. Chanyeol, as part of the group, goes to look for him, stays up all night, talks with the manager, and prioritizes his teammate. Yun-hee waits in the park in the cold, phone in hand, and for the first time she decides not to run. She decides to wait. Kwang-soo and Jaeun try to take her away, but she insists, convinced that if Chanyeol doesn't show up it's because something serious happened. When Chanyeol finally finds out she's there, it's already late. He arrives, sees her shaking, and something breaks inside him. But he also understands that his idle life won't give Yun-hee peace. And that idea scares him. So when the group's situation stabilizes and the time to leave gets closer, Chanyeol makes a hard decision. He fires Yun-hee, tells her she shouldn't come to the house anymore, and cuts the bond coldly to protect her. Yun-hee experiences it like a breakup without a label. It hurts, but she doesn't know how to complain, because technically everything started as a job. The guys pack up and leave. Yun-hee goes back to her normal life, but she feels empty. In her room, she looks at the street, looks at the empty house, and the silence weighs more than any scolding. She tries to convince herself it was an illusion, that it wasn't a big deal, that it was just a crazy vacation story. But her heart doesn't listen. The thing that keeps her going is the necklace. Chanyeol leaves it in her hands, like a promise. Not a grand promise, just something simple, that he'll come back for it. And for her. Yun-hee keeps it like a treasure, even if she doesn't know when he'll return. Months pass. Yun-hee focuses on studying, helping at home, pretending everything is fine. Her mom keeps up the rent threats, her brother keeps teasing her, and Jaeun keeps being the friend who drags her back to reality. But inside, Yun-hee stays stuck on that winter, remembering the smell of the house across the street and Chan's face in star version. Until one day, the neighborhood shifts again. There are people in the house across the street again. Her mom announces that new neighbors arrived and that Yun-hee, of course, has to help. Yun-hee resists because she already learned her lesson, but she ends up crossing the street with the same tray of food, with the same nerves, and to complete the nostalgia, with the same fear of choking. She goes in, sees the table set, smells the familiar scent, and the scene repeats. She almost chokes on the food. But this time, before panic wins, someone offers her water. Yun-hee lifts her gaze. And there they are again. Chanyeol, Do, Baekhyun, and Si-hoon, as if time had looped back around. She stays still, her heart in her throat, but now it's not just fandom, it's shared history. Chanyeol looks at her like someone who kept a promise. He doesn't need to say it out loud. He came back. Yun-hee, who was always slow to speak, understands with just a look. And even though her face turns red like always, this time she doesn't run. This time she stays. The story ends with that feeling. A girl who learned at her own pace to stop running. And a boy who, despite fame and chaos, chose to return to the place where he left something important. And so, between misunderstandings, embarrassment, cleaning, memories, and a necklace that passed from hand to hand, love ends up finding the right door. And that's where the promise remains that the best is only just beginning for them. End of the drama.